السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. في لقاء جديد مع بنت النور، يسعدني أن أستضيف الكاتبة لاكي جريس من دولة رواندا الشقيقة. الكاتبة لاكي جريس لديها 7 سنوات خبرة من الكتابة، كما أنها عملت في مجال النشر لكن 7 أو 8 أعوام. الآن يسعدنا نلتقيها هذا اليوم في ورشة كانيس للكتابة الإبداعية أقيمت في غانا. الآن دعونا نتحول إلى محادثتي وأرحب بها. Hi, Lucky Grace, how are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Salma.
And yeah, as I'm told my audience, you are writers from 7 years and you are working in a published way. Please tell us about yourself. Who are you?
My name is Lucky Grace Isingizwe. I've been writing for about 7 to 8 years. And I worked in the publishing industry in Rwanda.
Wow.
Working with writers in East Africa, sometimes
that's
from
interesting.
outside. So it was amazing. But then I took a sabbatical, a short break, and then so now I'm trying to see whether I can write full time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you're very talented to choose you to participate with this workshop for Caine for creative writing. Yeah, I think. Now, please, I want to ask you about like this workshop, like Caine workshop for creative writing. How you evaluate it? It's like more effective for the writer. It's very important to writers to attend this workshop.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Many writers, especially writers on the African continent, it's difficult for us to study writing on the continent. We don't have those resources to go outside the continent, so this is when we started to write, you know? So a few years ago, I did go to a workshop, almost like this one, with many writers.
Wow.
I was still new to writing. I was nervous. I couldn't talk, you know. So, right now, sometimes it's still hard for me to talk. But back then it was like way worse because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
But those writers have gone on to become really good, really great writers. They're published, they have books, they're on the continent, they're in bookshops all over the place, and it's amazing. So this is worship, this is what we do.
And then you can already make like many relationship with other writers around the world. Yes.
Actually, one of them went on to create a platform for other writers. So so he has a staff. It's like a full-time job. He has a staff, and writers send in their work, they edit it, and then they publish it. And some of the stuff that they do publishing goes on to compete in other prizes, which can pay the writers. So it's amazing. This is our space, this is how to learn.
It's our reward. Please, Lucky Grace, I want to ask you how you start and why you just chose to be writers. What the spark is within your heart when you start this journey for writing?
Me starting to write was the first time I did write was kind of accidental. I'm not sure whether that's how I was supposed to call it, but I was going through a difficult time, very, very difficult. It was one of my most difficult times as a teenager, and I was depressed, I was sad, I wanted to die, So I started writing poetry, and the first poem I wrote was I wanted to die, So that's how I started writing. So I started with poetry. And so I wanted to express my feelings, but I didn't want people who read them to understand. So I was hiding the meaning of what I was saying. So I wrote poetry and a little bit, but then after I got better in my life, I stopped. And then a few years later, I was at university. Before going to university, I tried to study writing, but in my country I couldn't find anywhere where they teach writing. So I went to journalism, and then when I was there and one of the lecturers told me that there was a writing competition.
Yeah.
And then I started writing competition. I was like, oh, I could get some cash. I was broke, you know.
Yeah.
I was at university, no money, asking for
Now
parents.
talent is showing itself. Yeah.
So I just wrote something. I wrote 2 stories, submitted them, and that's how I started. One of the stories made it to the shortlist, and
Wow, yeah. Bomb.
yeah, that's how I started.
I want just to let you back later when talking you are depressing that time and you start writing. I feel that can be like a healing, like a medicine to a condition.
Yes, it
You
is.
can tell me about that?
Well, so right now, if I'm trying to use writing as healing for me,
Yeah.
I don't write stuff that I'm going to publish.
Yeah,
No.
something for
I
yourself.
mean, these are stuff for myself, but when I am writing fiction, a little bit of all of those things, sometimes they show up, you know,
Yes.
the emotion, the hurt,
Yes,
the
really, yeah.
depression, you
Yes.
know, the wanting to die. Sometimes it does show up here and there in my writing.
That you are feeling really. All of us, not you. It's all about writing.
Yeah.
Please, I want to ask you, have you published any books about your stories and what type you are writing?
So I've had a few of my stories published. I haven't been able to write a novel yet, you know, because honestly, I'm very lazy. But when there is something, when publishers in the continent or mostly publishers ask people to come for workshops or to submit stories for publication, those I can do because I give you a deadline, and then you have an
serious. Yeah, you have motivations to
you can get out of it, you know. So that's usually it's sad, but that's usually how I'm able to do writing. But I'm trying to grow from that. So I've had a few stories published. I have actually in Rwanda. There's a book that they published yesterday. It has my story in it. Yeah.
Wow!
So I'm very excited. Thank you. So it's a short story in an anthology of other stories with many other Africans. So that's how my work has been published. So I am in different books all over the world. Well, there's two books in Africa, 2 books in UK, and 1 book in the US.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's very spirit. Yeah. Please, it's another question about when you are traveling to other countries, you get a new experience, new things that can affect your writing and how you see something. It's like give you like different angle to something new.
So when I go to other countries, travel to write, I haven't really been able to incorporate that into my writing as much as I would, because you know, even though I've been published those few times, I don't write a lot. So yeah, I'm very lazy. So it's something. Maybe let's just call it something that is cooking in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah, because when I live
Until the
in
right time is coming.
Yes, then it comes out, right? So you live in Rwanda. I live in Rwanda all my life. Yes. So writing about Rwanda is very easy.
Yes,
but because I'm seeing new places, I have to learn them.
Yes,
you know.
Different cultures.
Yes, remember them. You know, after I've left, that kind of thing. And then maybe when the right time comes, that thing just it slips into your writing. You know?
Yes, just like that.
Yeah. But it is amazing because you get to meet. I got to meet amazing people from all over.
Of course, yeah, making friends on the road.
Yes.
Yes. Even me, when I visited Rwanda the first time, I was surprised about this country, and I really fall in love in Rwanda. And Rwanda's people really.
Thank you.
Please, I think this will be last questions. I appreciate your time, really. So I'm asking about what is make you, what is spark in your writing, and what's your inspirations about writing?
Okay. So here's why I write, right?
Yes.
The reason I write is because I love stories, you know. So when I go to different places, even in my country, especially in my country, and someone tells me a story about their life or about something that happened, so I'm listening and I'm getting excited, or I'm laughing, or I'm sad. But deep down, I'm thinking, damn, man, this would make a good story, or this would make a good book.
Yes, we are feeling.
Yeah, so it's easy for me to turn anything into a story. So I love stories, you know. I love stories, but I write because I want to entertain. So you see, I love reading. I love watching movies. I also love playing games, but I love watching movies, TV shows, animation movies. So anything where I can get a story, I love it. Sometimes I even like ads because they're telling stories that are very funny. And recently I started watching stand-up comedy. They tell lots and lots of stories, you know. They're funny, you laugh a lot, and it's amazing, you know. So I write because I want to entertain. And when I started writing, the first thing, the kind of stories that I wanted to write were mystery writing, mystery stories, or murder mysteries, you know. Well, not horror yet, but I wanted to write something that's going to scare someone, you know. To I don't know, get them at the edge of their feet. But you know, I haven't actually been able to do that very well, you know, because I'm learning, you know.
Yes, of course, all of us. We're still in our own way.
Yes. So I read these books and they're really exciting. So, but when I read them, I get scared. I want to know what happens next and next and next and next. Sometimes I read a book and I can't sleep until it's finished.
Wow.
So I read it from morning when I'm not working. Sometimes when I am working, so I steal my time away. I read from morning and at night. The book is not finished. I still want to read it. So I read all night and then I sleep at 5 in the morning when the book is finished, you know. So I want to be able to do that for someone, you know.
That's one of my dreams.
Exactly, you know. So I write to entertain, but sometimes it is difficult because entertainment is for me something that is scary, or that is death, or there is a chase. But when you're learning to write, you also have to deal with touching the heart of the reader. And that's the most difficult thing, you know. So this is how I found myself. So the past few years, I've written stories that ended up going into that direction. The direction of touching the reader, touching the emotions, even the character, you know. The first workshop that I went in, I wrote a story, and then all of these bad things were happening to this girl, and then one of the instructors told me, "Why are you doing this to her?" For me, it was like, I'm a bad person. So he told me, "Why are you doing
like that?"
Why are you doing this to her? And then I wasn't going to give her a good ending, but after he told me that,
we tried our best, but she wanted to die. What did I do? She chose that. Not ask her. Choose her fate, not us. That's our feeling.
So you see, when you go to these workshops, you meet all of these instructors who have been in the industry and on the job of the writer for years, and they guide you different ways. So
you discover something new in every workshop.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you do. So the story that I did publish last year is the only story that I could say is like a good thriller, you know? It's about ghosts. So it's amazing. It was my first time writing about ghosts. So it was very exciting for me to write. So I want to be able to write, you know, things like that, you know? That is one of my favorite writers of all time is Stephen King.
Wow.
And you know. So I want to be able to write scary, you know, scary, thrilling, you know. So that's my aspiration.
Please, my last question for you. What you are seeing yourself in the future? Are you a novelist, or you just a storyteller, or what you are? been?
So that's a difficult question. If you had asked me that question 2 years ago, I would have said, I want to have in my house, if I buy one, build one, I want to have a bookshelf that has maybe 2 rows of just my books on it. So I want to be able to write that many books. That's what I would have said,
That before 2 years, huh?
Yeah, 2 years ago. But right now, my life, especially my health, has became a bit complicated. So I went to university and didn't finish, and I came back. So I try not to project my life that far away. So right now, I'm just looking at this year, in the beginning of next year. I have a few stories that I want to write, and I want to get them published. That's it.
Wow.
So that's it. That's where I see myself in the future. By the time I get there, maybe I'll be able to figure out what happens next.
Step by step. Why not hurry? We don't have all the time in the world to finish our things.
Yes.
Really, I appreciate your times and your answers, and I love you so much.
Thank you
I hope
so
to
much.
meet you in another place, another workshop.
Yeah.
Maybe in Rwanda we come to my country, so of course we meet each other.
Thank you
Thank you
so much.
بهذا الحوار الجميل خفيف الظل كروحي هالجميلة أختم وأصلكم إلى نهاية حلقتنا لهذا اليوم مع بنت النور. كانت معي الكاتبة لاكي جريس من دولة رواندا. دمتم في أمان الله.